All right, part three. Welcome back, citizens one and all. My buddy, Marcus and I. What's up, Marcus?
Hey, Ginger.
We are still chatting a little bit on Alpha One preview, is what it was technically called. So again, if you have not seen part one or two, don't touch that record button. We're allowed to talk about things now. We just can't show any of the alpha footage or any alpha screenshots that aren't like public things that Ashes has released themselves. So what we're going to talk about today is Alpha Island, where we were. So the last two parts we mentioned a little bit that we went across the ferry, we did some treasure hunting, we killed things, we died a bunch, even at level 15, which we forgot to cover that. They did max level everybody to level 15 for like the last couple hours of the game, so that was cool, wasn't it, Marcus?
Yeah, it was just cool seeing the different abilities your character had and putting skill points into those abilities.
Yeah, so we got to do all that. Maybe we did cover that in part one. I don't know. We've been talking a while. So, anyways, we went out here, and I'll bring the map back up. We went up here to this node at the top of the map, and we spent a good 2 hours there, maybe more than that, trying to get it to a level 1, the expedition level. So the nodes themselves start off as wilderness. And if you do things enough in that wilderness, it will develop into an expedition. The NPCs will say, hey, there's a lot of shit happening here. Let's go here. Let's establish a base. It'll eventually become like expedition, encampment, village, on up to all the way metropolis. So we went there and killed things. It seems like most of this is based on like multiple people doing things. So if there's, I'm just gonna spitball, like no no dev backing me up on this. I guess I should say, but I'm gonna spitball and say like a node developing to level 1 in a few hours probably takes between 20 and 50 people consistently doing things in it. I just thinking outside the box. I mean, these are things that are supposed to take like many players to do. So we weren't able to get this node to level 1. I asked around a little bit in the Discord, really wasn't given a straight answer, and this is going to be my biggest critique for the devs at this point in time. I would say that most everybody here, and I think Marcus will agree, has spent at least $500, if not more than if you bought in during Kickstarter. But everybody playing right now has spent at least $500. Uh, the devs have said multiple times they want some level of discoverability left, but that's kind of a catch-22 / conundrum. Like, you can't say you want to leave discoverability and then also say we want to test these systems. We want to test these systems specifically. If you want to test these systems specifically, then you need to give the current batch of alpha players exactly what they need to test these systems. You can't say we want discoverability and we want to test things at the same time, because we already know, no, you're not putting these things up to what is going to be like a full launch status at this point in time. Like you're putting these systems in place and you're setting the requirements lower than normal so you can test these systems and make sure they work. So you need to tell the players exactly what their goal is so they can test these things for you, instead of saying things like we want you to discover things or we want some discoverability and mystery in the game. Like, no, this is fucking pre-alpha. The mystery is at launch. And by the time we get to launch, things will be so different that this phase isn't going to necessarily matter in the sense of discoverability. Like, all that stuff is going to be at launch. So the biggest thing that the dev team can do is to loosen the reins a little bit, in my mind, especially for when people pay in $500. For $500, I want to know exactly what the fuck I'm driving towards to help you, is my biggest critique of all. What would you say, Marcus?
Yeah, like we were trying to get at least the first phase of a town to spawn on that one node. Because we had seen on the map where we think it would have spawned at, and between you and I, we killed it probably at least 1,000 mobs, including twice
Oh,
what we assumed was a
like a
mini
little mini
boss.
boss, yeah. It
And
seemed,
it seemed like okay, I think we're going to need a lot more people in
yeah,
order for this to make this reality. You suggested, Ginger, that they should have like a bar that shows the development of that node or something. That would have been at least
yeah,
helpful in an alpha phase anyway.
yeah.
So we
And
didn't just waste our 5 hours. I'm glad we didn't spend all our time, just
yeah, me
trying to do
too.
that.
And that tracker bar, apparently it's a system that exists, but we weren't shown it. It was my understanding of it. So I still had a lot of fun. It seems like we got loot to drop every third or fourth kill, and by the time we left that area, I had about 200 of those little lesser shards. So I think I killed between 5 and 800, and I know you had started collecting them late, so I know you killed 300 or 400 as well. So we killed well over 1,000 things. So again, at this phase in testing, the players want clarity of what you want tested. Like, there are so many things in this game. There's always going to be some level of discoverability, especially with stuff like treasure hunting and like discovering these skills. And like the last thing that we want discoverability on is the biggest system in the game. And the node system is the absolute biggest system in the game as far as interactability, like what you can do, the types of nodes, everything about it. Like, Ashes of Creation has a huge focus on this node system. So we want to test it, and we just want a little more like clarity on exactly what we're driving for, because we want to test these systems just as much as they want these systems tested. So hopefully going forward, that is going to be something that maybe they'll be a little more receptive to. I talked with somebody about this, and they did respond to me. They were very, very nice about it, and they had said as well that, you know, there was some back and forth on the forums about a similar issue. So I'm hoping that maybe going forward, they'll take that feedback as a positive critique and maybe make it a little bit easier to test these systems. And we'll go from there. So, but let's move on. That little mini boss we fought, Marcus, he was actually pretty easy to kill, but it was still fun. Like, his skin, like the way he looked was just so cool. I don't even know what to compare it to. He looked really cool.
Yeah, he was easy to kill, I think, only because at that point we had
We had
already
max
been
level, yeah.
to 15 anyway, yeah.
Yeah, 15 was the max level for this phase of alpha testing. But what else is something we saw? Oh yeah, like there were a lot of the bigger guilds, like people that have been having these guilds for years, that were teaming up. And right before the server closed, like one guild declared war on another, which was actually pretty cool to see. So they probably had some kind of event pre-planned, and they were doing some PvP and stuff. What did you think, Marcus?
Yeah, Ginger, do you know that node that we got ported to that looked like a elven town that spawned on it?
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of a node that was? Was that like a divine node, economic, or
Oh, I'm not even
scientific,
sure.
military? Because there's, I think, those 4 different types of nodes that can spawn, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it was
ooh,
either.
I'm not even sure. It did have guards, so it may have been a military node. I don't know if all nodes have guards currently or not. I have no clue, but that's a great question. I don't even know if it was set like that or not. Uh, let me think. Let me think. What else? We got about another few seconds here. What was your favorite thing, Marcus? We'll say that. What was your favorite thing about Alpha?
I think the most thing I was overall impressed with was the graphics and the layout. It was very well done for an alpha stage. You know, usually in an alpha, you'll see, you know, chunks just not drawn in or roughed in, but not detailed. The detail for an alpha was very good. So graphics, I don't think are going to be a problem with this game.
No, I 100% agree. And my favorite thing, you guys already know what it's going to be, is the treasure hunting. I loved it. It was very, very cool. I'm going to have a lot of fun putting videos together on all the treasure hunting. Um, I think that system is going to change a lot as we move forward, but I'm going to say that I'm very excited. This is a loot horror's paradise type of game, and it's going to be amazing. But we're going to call it there, part 3. Y'all take care. Have a great night.